Another episode of Real Ranked of Edgar Wright Filmography going live. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Real Ranked. Today we're going to be ranking Edgar Wright's filmography, and we got a great group of people. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in Cole.
Hello, Yarp.
We got Sean.
Hello.
And Andrew.
Hello, Yarp.
Because Edgar Wright only has 6 movies today, we're not gonna do a tier list format, but we're still gonna rank them, figure out a collaborative ranking. And we're just gonna start in order with the first movie and talk about it. So starting with Shaun of the Dead.
I thought you were saying my name for a second. Starting with Sean.
Let's start with Sean, I guess.
How do y'all feel about Shaun of the Dead?
I like it. I think it's very good.
How about you, Sean?
Someone else go next. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I know this has my name in it, so I was expecting a bit more based off that. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this one compared to his others. I'm not a big fan of zombie movies. I think they all generally have the same plot. It's like they all survive, or just everybody's a zombie, or most of the time they just survive. But the part where they were all huddled in one area trying to escape them, that seemed very, I don't know, cliche, and I could see where that was going. Yeah, it's funny, I guess, but not as funny as I was expecting. Yeah.
Do you want me? I've also got the burden of speaking for Owen tonight. The burden, the privilege, however you define it. Owen thinks this is one of Edgar's best. He just gave me a ranking system, so I'm going to make it up. But he thinks that it does a great job parodying a genre that he loves, or even more of a tribute, as Edgar himself would say. And it's one of the best based on what Owen has given me. I think a great debut, a beautiful, wonderful debut that establishes good groundwork for him to improve as he makes more and more movies. It's not my favorite. It's not my genre. You guys all know me. I'm not a big horror guy. It's like my favorite zombie movie. But my brother wants to know if we accept callers because he already has thoughts. But it's a great movie. It's a great movie. But it's like it's Shaun of the Dead.
If Nathan comments in the live chat, maybe we'll bring it up.
Oh yeah, Nathan, you're relegated to the comments, you stupid bitch. You don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I quite like this. I think what really stands out for me is this is although I watched this earlier on than I watched most horror movies, and so it's this weird thing where the parody comes before the inspiration, and it's one of those things where I find that I still enjoy this after seeing Dawn of the Dead and a lot of the Romero movies that obviously he takes inspiration from here. I think especially the first honestly, the finale is great too, but the first hour and a half is just some of the best comedy. Actually, how long is it anyways? I might be overdoing that.
It is like an hour and
99 minutes. Okay, so let's say the first 75% of the movie. It's just really funny. And I think the day-to-day kind of monotony that he kind of goes through, and then all of a sudden there's this outbreak, and it's kind of sort of his calling, but also sort of we got to get the shit together. and hijinks ensue, and it's fucking great.
It's very good.
Shout out to the bar scene, of course. Great use of music. Speaking of music, them throwing the records is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some of the best stuff.
Great.
The Winchester scene is interesting because that's like them doing the coordinated music hits, and that's become a lot more popular recently. And obviously, he's not the first to do it,
Right.
but like he was kind of doing it before it became a trend, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, more of a trend. There's a lot of historical examples and stuff like that, but yeah.
The that same scene where they finally turn on the power and he flips the light and they're all just out the window. Like, things like that are just so great. Yeah. Also, strawberry cornetto is the best cornetto. So I mean,
I have no
know,
thoughts on that matter.
Mm.
That's
I have
okay.
not tried
So
them, so
I would say that everything is S tier. This is something we discussed before coming on. Is I agree
don't-
personally. I think most of us agree, besides maybe Last Night in Soho.
we'll talk about it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if
but they're definitely all great
yeah.
movies. They're good.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah, all S. I don't know if I'd say that, but
I'm not afraid. This is a great opening, like getting to see the dynamic between Frost and Peg on the big screen for the first time, because you had them in space, but this I think was like their first big collaboration. I'm trying to because like the Romero thing came after, right?
What?
Didn't like them and Edgar Wright appear in like one of the
I haven't
movies?
seen it. I think they appeared in Land of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the later Romeros I haven't seen. But yeah, I mean, also the what do you call it? The mirrored group where it's all of them running across. That scene's great. The fence joke starts here. I love the fence joke. Great.
And like this has created some iconic easy Halloween costumes for years and years.
You just need a tie and some
beyond
blood
it,
on it,
which I think is a
some
beautiful
egg.
thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Also, Edgar, whenever you watch this, I'm very sick. So if I'm not eloquent enough and appreciating your movies, believe me, I'm working on it. I'm trying my best. Just had to let Edgar know real quick.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Of course.
Oh no, it's good shit though, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
Nathan in the chat saying, I think it's important to remember that Shaun of the Dead came out in 2004, which was before zombies took over every form of media, which is
That's
very
true.
Yeah.
point, yeah.
I'm trying to think, when was the Dawn of the Dead remake? Was that 2005?
4.
4. Okay, so literally, around the same time. So I mean, there was definitely that kind of especially helped push that, and Walking Dead for sure. So I get it. I get why people don't necessarily love this too, because zombies are a little tired out now, but it's really cool to see. Even comparison to, like, let's say, like 28 Days Later, which is very different, but like in terms of how they use zombies, it's also not like traditional. I feel like this is such an homage to those Romero movies that I mean, it's really called Shaun of the Dead. So but
like Nathan was saying, or also said, he said like it's familiar to those like fans of horror and Romero fans, but the pop culture hasn't really been saturated by that stuff yet.
Yeah.
So in case anybody doesn't know, that's my brother who
I was going to
introduced
say,
me.
it's like Casby.
He introduced me to these movies. So my love of Edgar Wright stems from him showing me, like, I think he started me on Shaun of the Dead, but I don't know if we watched everything in order. So he's to blame and to thank for if my use of Edgar Wright has ever fucked you in RTFO or anything like that. I have to shout him out or he'll give me shit.
Oh, shoot. I think it might have that one match we had. So yeah, Nathan, that's apparently your fault.
Matthew, what do you think of Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
No, I really like this movie. I haven't seen it since 2018, and that was also when I hadn't gotten into horror yet. So like Cole, you were saying how when you watched it,
I feel like this is a great stepping point for those kind of people, because it is still very comedic and the effects are really good, like in terms of the actual zombies.
I agree for sure.
So yeah, it's like a good place to start.
Yeah, no, I think it's like horror comedy was good to get me started into horror. Now I feel like I want to watch it again just because now that I've seen, the Night of the Living Dead, Romero's films and stuff, and
Yeah.
just more horror
I
movies in general.
yeah, I will argue though that this is the one that's most rewatchable to me. We'll get into Hot Fuzz. I also think it's up there, but like neck and neck, I think this is the most rewatchable movie. Where it's self-contained, it's a lot of fun, and well, Andrew, you can disagree, but I mean,
I'm listening.
but yeah, okay, yeah, your facial expression says otherwise. But
No, I make facial expressions to like know in the moment that I disagree, and then you get to keep talking without me being like, I disagree openly.
Wow.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anywho, but yeah. Sorry, Matthew. Continue though.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's just cool to see Edgar Wright's like style, like originating, from his debut. You can really get a sense of it, and it's like his that quick editing and like transitions, dialogue, visuals, and all that is just like top notch, and great start for him.
King of visual comedy, as we all call him.
Yeah.
Any other contributions?
I like that Sean's mom is named Barbara because of Night of the Living Dead. That's great. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Dude, isn't there like an insane amount of references?
Yeah,
like,
really
it's like hard to quantify.
It's good
from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard like hundreds of like references that I will never get because I'm not a horror guy. So I'm not going to get into those like movies and catch them.
Yeah,
but
I've only seen Dawn and Night of Living Dead. So in terms of the Romero,
yeah,
side,
same. Those are only two I've seen as well.
But there's definitely scenes like the shambling and the mall comparison to the one in the pub, kind of getting across. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Nathan bringing up a fun fact that part of the deal for Universal greenlighting Shaun of the Dead was that it couldn't release until after Dawn of the Dead to prevent conflict.
That's funny.
That is a fun fact. Thank you, Nathan.
All right. Well, we can move on to the next movie.
Hell yeah.
Wait,
this one's
when
great.
are we actually
This is the best one.
ranking
This is
them?
probably the
Or
best
are we
one.
just comparing them as we go?
I think
we'll
we're just
compare them as
talking
we go.
about-
We're not gonna put them on any tiers. Like Colin already said, everything is
Yeah.
S-tier.
I just mean when are we actually gonna rank them?
We'll rank them once we get into Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
So we'll talk about Hot Fuzz and then we can
God,
figure out.
no. I need 3 on the board before we do that because I'm gonna have to defend my opinion on something. That's fine. All right, Hot Fuzz. Great homage to Bay. Great homage to a lot of action movies. So smart in its writing. I think that's the thing that's also comes back to me on the rewatches. I just pick up so many little things in the dialogue that just makes it perfect. I still every time I watch the movie, the gag with the manager, the best manager, what is it? The manager of the year. It's just a perfect match on it. It's so great. Yarp. Yeah. Sorry, that's my fangirl moment. But like, if anyone wants to add some nuance to the discussion, please go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna add nuance. I'll just pile on.
It's lit. I mean, that's the
I don't have a complaint about this movie. It's like, I mean, okay, so first of all, you're right, the clever writing. Second of all, like as an action fan, it's just like the way that it mimics editing and like character relationships and kind of pokes fun at those dynamics, and then just like general character work. I think every aspect of it's like so fucking well done that like it's I like I said, don't ever find anything to complain about. I'll show it to people and they'll love it even if they don't get all these like references and stuff. It's like a widely enjoyable film. I mean, I watched it before I got pretty much any of what it was referencing, or even in tribute to. And then I think it gives Peg, like going from Shaun of the Dead to Hot Fuzz, a totally different type of character to work with, which is awesome because it's like a spiritual trilogy, and they're not sticking to the same archetypes. Danny is still, similar to Frost's character in a way. No hate on Nick Frost. Nick Frost, incredible. But it's like, it's cool to see that dynamic change so drastically between the movies, as well as just a phenomenal supporting cast, and all of them get their laugh lines too. Like there's like not a straight man in this movie.
Yeah.
And like, if it's obviously Nicholas Angel, but like he still gets a lot of good stuff. So yeah.
This is where I think his editing too is definitely like his most heightened, and it's great for it. Obviously, because it's parroting. Obviously, like you can point to the scene where he's like the very fast action cuts of him just traveling up the train up the countryside, like things like that. It's like so great. And then on top of that, in terms of like being a good comedy movie, being a good kind of thriller-ish. It's not like in that way, but there's definitely mystery there.
I'd
and
say
then
so.
a great finale, man. In terms of even, it's just so good. It's just so good.
Delivers 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Huge fan.
Big fan of this. Great editing as always. Just like adding to the comedy, and then just blending action, comedy, mystery. Really enjoyable. Great cast. Peg and Frost are always great, but then also, who's the Timothy Dalton?
Yes, Dalton. I get the cast. Olivia Colman, and this is great.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the station is so great, especially
So
the end.
good, dude.
The two partners.
The Andes.
Yeah, the Andes.
The Andes.
Yeah.
A lot of good misdirects too, which helps on the rewatches.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then just some all-time classic bits. Oh god. Sean, how do you feel about Hot Fuzz?
I definitely agree with all that you guys have said. The funny thing is, I watched it the first time, and I think I rated it like 3.5. And now looking back, I don't know why. Like I thought it was just like an okay action movie. I think I wasn't just super into like action movies, and I was like, okay. But the second time I watched it, I was like, I realized how much of a comedy it was, and I was like, this is hilarious. Like, what was I thinking the first time? So it's now, I think, honestly, it's for me one of my favorite Edgar Wright movies. Talking about it, I'm forgetting so many of the jokes, even though I know there's so many. I want to rewatch it now, because I just remember the editing is super hilarious, but also just I think the kind of straight British humor, I think, and it was really well done.
I think Hag Fascist is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I think that's one of the best bits.
Geese is great in that. I think that this is the best fence gag out of all of them. This is my favorite. Just physical comedies.
It's good shit, man.
Although I like the World's End one funny. I think it's more
the detectives going like boop, 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 boop. like off screen. That's a good bit. And Owen, of course, would say this is Edgar Wright's best. Him at his peak. Unbeatable, this film. That's what Owen would say, based on the numbers that he gave me.
Okay.
Great.
Matthew.
All right.
Have you said your piece on it?
I said enough, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I've said enough, he says.
It's a great movie.
Criticism. Here's one bit of criticism I always come back to. The dip before the end of the movie, the final action sequence, is a little too long for me. When he has to go out of the town and come back, I think it takes a little bit too long, especially with the spray painters and all that. It's a lot of good setup, but I think it takes a little bit too long. Probably could have shaved off like 5 or 10 minutes on that. But that's literally the only thing I can think of right now.
It is like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes, man.
It feels longer.
Because what you're talking about, like when he gets chased out by the
Right. And then
yeah, he just like gets dropped off and then he drives for a bit, and then he stops at the gas station. Oh, it cuts back to town for a bit, but yeah. Fair enough.
This is also with Kate Blanchett's cameo where she's like,
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's also great.
Peter Jackson's cameo.
Peter Jackson's cameo.
Yeah, I don't have any criticisms.
Cool.
Okay. I guess we can bring up the ranking, and do we want to put this above Shaun of the Dead?
All right, I'm gonna start because I'm gonna lose this either way. I'm just gonna say it. I think Shaun of the Dead is a little bit better. These are like neck and neck. These have always been neck and neck for me. I think everything else below this is definitely like there's a bit of a gap, not a big gap. We're talking like micro gaps here, but like this is like a micro gap between Shaun and Hot Fuzz. But I think on as many times as I've seen Shaun of the Dead, as many times I've seen Hot Fuzz, if I had to put them side by side, I got to pick one. I'm going Shaun of the Dead. So that would be my one.
But why?
Yeah.
But why?
But why?
Yeah.
I think I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think rewatchability wise, Shaun of the Dead is great. And with Hot Fuzz, there's nothing. There's like I said. I mean, we're talking like so close here, but like I said, with a little bit at the end there, and it has really good highs, but also has a lot of things you have to kind of get the first time, and then once it helps a lot on the second time. Versus Shaun of the Dead, which is pretty cut and dry. You kind of understand the relationships, and you just kind of are along the ride with it.
I think that's why
better. I think it's better for that.
I think, and I don't know. That's why I don't like Shaun of the Dead as much. I think it's almost too cut and dry. Like it just leans, like there's sure like gags and stuff like that, but like I think it leans too much on the zombie element. And like Hot Fuzz is like it balances the comedy, action, thriller, and like combines that all into like a parody that's also, like you guys said, a really good action movie. And I don't think Shaun of the Dead's that good of a zombie movie, well, I mean, it might be an okay comedy, but like, I don't know.
You heard me, Sean. You heard me.
You had me for a lot of that, but you lost me at the end.
I think it's a great zombie movie.
Well,
honestly,
I
think
it's
up there with
movies, so...
the Romero stuff. I think it's really, in terms of comparison. I know it's a parody technically, but it's okay. It's its own thing. It's great.
When I say it's not a good zombie movie, I'm just not a fan of zombie movies. That's basically what I'm saying. Like, to me, it was just like doing the same thing. Like, So, I'm sure it's good, but I'm just not a big fan of it, I suppose. Like, yeah.
Okay. Andrew, go ahead.
I'm all the way Hot Fuzz at the top. I would say that the reason that you gave that you think Shaun of the Dead's better, I also think makes Hot Fuzz better. Like being able to go back and catch that extra stuff when it already works so well on the first watch.
In terms of if I was to like introduce this to people, right? Hot Fuzz is one where I think even to your point, Sean, you mentioned earlier, where you thought it was like an okay comedy action movie, but it gets better on rewatches. I think in terms of a movie going experience, if most people watch movies once and are done with them. And if I had to give them one, I'm going to give them Shaun of the Dead because I think it does everything that Hot Fuzz does, but it does it more concise and it does it with a little less confusion because you don't have to worry about the thriller aspect and mystery there. It makes as personally as a fan of his movies, I think I like Hot Fuzz more in that aspect, but I still come back to Shaun of the Dead because it's a comfort, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I mean,
that's
so
Baby Driver for me, so keep that in mind later.
Okay.
It's just straight, like, it's a zombie movie. Like, they're all going to turn into zombies. Like, that's why you are willing to show it to people and not Hot Fuzz. I get it because I think now that I'm thinking about it, I have friends who definitely have not liked Hot Fuzz, and I'm like, why not? But still, I don't think that makes it better just because you're saying it's like more people understand it because it's simpler.
I'm also putting bias in here. This is my
Yeah,
personal
that's
take.
true.
It's not going to
Yeah,
matter because I think
get it.
Shannon is going to put Hot Fuzz above Shaun the Dead anyways.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Matthew.
I'm glad you said your piece.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Owen does for sure.
so-
So.
Yeah, Owen does,
Yeah.
so it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Or-
I really like both of the movies, but I just think Hot Fuzz does it better. I just enjoy Hot Fuzz more, but like they're both like I gave them both the same rating, so it's not like I think one is like that much worse than the other.
What may I ask is that rating?
Well, 4.5 stars.
Okay, I can
Dang.
work with that.
I can
I
work
was
with that, too.
worried it was going to be 4. Fun fact 3-pack: Hot Fuzz is shot in Edgar Wright's hometown. The supermarket was where he had his first job as a teen, and the character of Skinner was based off his boss. That's a creepy boss, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably
So that
exaggerating.
puts
I'm
Hot
assuming.
Fuzz on top.
Okay. All right.
Hell yeah.
Like I said,
Where
not
it
mad about it.
stays. Where it
I'm
stays
totally-
for the rest.
I am totally yeah, probably, but I'm not mad about it. I get it. The Shaun of the Dead's just a personal favorite. So
Yeah,
Cool.
no, I get that. I mean,
Shaun
Scott
of the
Pilgrim
Dead's
is my
just the
favorite
least
movie of his,
personal
but
favorite.
oh,
yeah.
No, wait,
Well,
not least.
you know?
Actually, just a not
Okay.
very high personal low.
oh,
Even
we're
though
gonna have to
everybody
let
else
Taco
seems to
go.
like
That's
it.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I love these thoughts, Sean. Keep them coming. I love hearing
Probably
it.
the only like controversial one. Well, actually, I don't know. We'll see. What's next?
Next is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
May I volunteer to go first?
Didn't you go
Motherfucker,
first last
Go
time?
ahead.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I think my perspective is interesting because I did not like this movie first time I watched it. Back when it came out, I think I watched it like at home. It was like it didn't really click with me at all. I watched it when I was kind of getting back into Cornetto trilogy. I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance, and I thought it was good at the time. And then I read the graphic novel by Brian Lee O'Malley. I read all 6 volumes, and I think the comparison between the two is an interesting adaptation because it definitely takes its liberties where it can to kind of concise it. Also, it wasn't finished at the time, so there's a lot of changes that had to be made. But I think in terms of adaptation, it's really good. It gets the visual style of the graphic novel, but also, especially like the Shonen Jump style of it, that Lee O'Malley was definitely like embraced by. He adapts that very well. So in terms of action, it's some of the best of Edgar Wright's too, in my opinion. I think the scene in the nightclub or bar where Ramona is fighting with Scott's hands and the whole bit with her, and the final battle is great. And even the Lucas Lee one is fantastic, even though it's kind of a cop out by the end of it. But that's kind of the joke.
It's clever.
It's so clever. But yeah, I think Scott as a character is kind of a little bit toxic in a way, but I think that's kind of the point because he learns, he goes through an arc. I think in comparison, it's more justifiable. There's more nuance in the graphic novel than there is in this. You're dealing with 2 hours. I get it. Also, different ending. So, test audiences liked them getting Ramona and Scott getting together, so it makes sense. But overall, it's definitely mid-tier for me. But it's definitely great, and I have loved rewatching it too. That's another one that's great to rewatch.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I can go next if y'all don't mind.
Okay.
Because I'm surprised it's mid tier because there's like, I don't know, like thinking of all his movies, like they're all so good that man, yeah, I don't know. I think this one for me is like definitely a higher tier. Like I don't know. For me, there's some clear ones, and like Hot Fuzz and this one are up there because I just think the editing's so good. I mean, you're right about Scott Pilgrim not being like a very definitely a bit of a toxic character, not being a very good character. But I don't know. I think that's just a bit of a mistake that people, or well, not a mistake, but like it's just I don't get when people think that like there can't be flawed characters in movies because that's like I don't know. That's what makes it more interesting. Like like the complexity. but yeah, it is weird that he's like the main protagonist in a bit of a way. So I do get that, because like you're sort of wanting to root with him, even though he's like doing all this like stuff that isn't really that good. But yeah, like what'd you say?
Said it's not groovy, but you
Yeah, not groovy. Yeah, that's a perfect word. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of the action sequences are really great for sure. It's got an amazing cast. Also really funny. I've seen this one twice now, and yeah, I think last time I watched it, I don't know, all Edgar Wright's movies seem to get like like funnier. There's more I notice whenever I rewatch them. Or yeah, they're funny on rewatch generally. So maybe I should rewatch Shaun of the Dead. But yeah, I don't know. Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorites. So yeah.
By the way, when I say mid tier, we're talking with 6 movies. By the way,
Yeah,
so
I know,
it is relative.
Yeah. I'm still confused because like I don't know. There's a couple clear like top tier, and then like
I'm with you,
low
Sean.
tier and mid.
I have it in the middle of my ranking of 6 movies, but it's still a great movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just really fun.
I'm just wondering what you put as high tier. I guess like I'm like, if that's mid.
I can tell you, we've done high tier already. So
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's a high tier movie.
It's just Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Okay,
yeah,
well then we already talked about
high
it.
tier. Those are God tier, honestly. Let's
Yeah,
be real.
it's God tier, high tier,
Yeah.
and mid tier.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll get there, Soho, but you know. Don't make
One
him
second.
laugh, oh my God, Andrew.
Is that because you mentioned Soho? Oh my gosh.
Oh my
No, it's just
We're gonna have to talk about it later, Andrew.
Hey guys,
What's up, Andrew?
Scott Pilgrim is my favorite Edgar Wright movie.
Okay.
Yes.
I like
Let's
it a
hear it.
lot.
I love it. I love it.
I
Let's hear it.
think it's like beyond like innovative, like visually, like the creativity that you can see in like every frame, dude, is so cool. Like whether it's like the transitions like as a comic book panel, or the transitions where Michael Cera go into bathroom pee, it says P bar lowers, watch hand briefly, and walk into hallway. That's cool as hell. Like all of these, every like minute detail, every scene in the movie has something to be looking at that's fun. There's like incredible gags. Just like there's just so many elements of the movie that stand out as some of my favorite like things that he does. Like the comedy is some of my favorite out of all the movies, especially on rewatches, because some comedy is great comedy, but it's not made for rewatches, and some comedy continuously works again and again. And I think that Pilgrim for me works again and again. And then I agree with you about like, oh, Scott Pilgrim is toxic. It's like, sure, he's like a dick, whatever. Like that's kind of the point, is that he's learning that he's a dick, in the same way that Ramona left New York to escape her past, and specifically Gideon. Maybe this at the end of the film is Scott getting the chance to leave the place where he grew up since he was a child, and be a better person and learn how to be a better version of himself with Ramona. Just like I love it, man. It's so good. Also, Brie Larson, huge for me when I was younger.
I didn't even mention that.
Also, Black Sheep.
Vegan powers, bro. Vegan powers.
Black Sheep.
Yeah, the vegan powers.
Yeah, that's literally our intro.
Funny. And then I adore the Black Sheep scene. Like the way that they cut it. It's like they're doing the split screen thing, and it's like your head banging, and you're like, hello. Again, it's like showing their faces like next to each other, and it's like, Scott, I'm blanking on his name somehow.
What?
X number 3.
Todd.
Thank you.
Yeah, Scott. Todd. Envy. Ramona.
Yeah.
Scott. Todd. Envy. Ramona. It's like this is like fun shit, dude. It's so good.
Back
so
to cutting to the music. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I love it. And just the details in every like moment
So here's what I will say. As somebody who likes the original series, the Kaganagi twins are just very lackluster. That's one where it is definitely saved by the visuals, and that definitely helps alleviate that pain. But there's so much they lose in the adaptation, and it is kind of a shame.
But you have to, right? You can't keep everything, and it was before the series was complete, right?
Correct.
So,
that volume would have been complete by then. I'm pretty sure.
I think
Actually, no. You're right.
No,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
because it would have been 1, 2. He would have been on the 4th volume.
Yeah,
and they don't get into the 5th. So, anywho, you're right. So either way, doesn't matter. I still think it's lackluster. I mean, I get it, but like,
I think it works to keep it a tight movie though. Like to cut some stuff.
Ooh, Jacob coming in with interesting takes here.
Yeah, let's go.
He also said he notices new things every time he watches it.
That's true.
Colin says it's infinitely rewatchable.
Yeah.
I also really like the theory that at the end, Nega Scott is nice because Scott's a dick. He walks out and he goes, he's actually a really nice guy. And it's
right, because if it was opposite.
It's like true, I think that's obviously the intention. I say theory. Yeah. Which is like a bit though.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Because it's very different. It plays out very differently. In terms of the way the movie is cut, I think Knives and him should have ended together. That would have sealed the deal for me, like in terms of the arc of his, because then he actually learned something. But with Ramona, it's mostly Knives giving him like the pass. It's like, no, go be happy, and it's like I guess she's young and she still has a future, but I think so does Scott. And like
too young, dude. I don't like them ending up together because she's like in high school at best 18. Is she 18?
Yeah, she would no 17. You're dating a 17-year-old.
I'm not I don't love that.
I mean, wasn't he also like I don't know, I'm trying to remember the movie. Wasn't he also like kind of phoning that in? Like he wasn't really invested in the relationship. So I feel like if he just kept
even
going
before he saw Ramona.
Yeah, I feel like if he just kept going just to like learn his lesson that he shouldn't have like cheated or whatever, then like that still isn't like a very good thing. I don't know. Positive.
Yeah. Great supporting cast too, by the way. I mean that is the thing that definitely helps this movie. Wallace is the best. I love Wallace so much. Kim is great. Even though they definitely cut her arc down for sure. Neil, young Neil, great. Even Anna Kendrick is like decent in it too.
Aubrey Plaza
too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Brandon Routh is great. Yeah.
I think every one of those exes is cast perfectly though.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you would do it. Especially how the way the script is, like I said with the Kaganagi twins. I mean, I think it's kind of lackluster, but in terms of the way the sequence works, it's great. Those two are great.
Who played those two? I'm trying to remember.
That would be Keita Saito and Shota Saito, brothers.
Oh.
Yes. Anywho, but yeah, Matthew, what do you think?
I still think it's a great movie. I think just the way it's stylized, and just I'm gonna bring up Nathan's comment here, how he says that Edgar Wright's most defining traits as a director, his ludicrous attention to detail, and Scott Pilgrim is the movie where that comes to the forefront the most. And I definitely agree with that. There's just so much detail in every frame, and I
look out for those X's. On screen. Good shit.
There's a lot of them.
Nathan also says the vegan police
that's Thomas Jane's best role as vegan police.
Hell yeah. He also said it might be P.I. Staker, which is also good. I think it's the vegan police, but Stephen Merchant props.
I'm trying to remember the line when he's like, "Wait, this isn't vegan."
Chicken parm, right?
Chicken parm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, milk and eggs, bitch.
So good, dude.
Yeah. I also think that I like garlic bread, so.
Garlic makes you fat.
Good points all around.
Makes you fat.
Yeah, there's great, so many memorable lines. So
A shout out to the tossing the package scene where they had to do that like 100 takes to get it right
Yeah.
into the trash can. No, Jacob isn't vegan, unfortunately. Neither is the egg that goes in the breading to coat it. But yeah,
Andrew, what does Owen think? I'm curious.
What
Owen
does
thinks Owen's thoughts are that this is in the top tier of Edgar. It is in the top half of Edgar Wright's movies.
Okay, top 3. Sweet.
Yes, sir.
Out of 6.
he has top 3 now. I'll bring up this ranking again.
He also gave me license to use his opinion for my own gains as much as I want. Don't ask me about that.
Okay.
I'm happy to start. I would keep it where it is right now.
I am also the same. I like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead more, but
It's once again we're talking like minute levels.
Okay, so it's 2 of our number ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also my favorite. I didn't mention that, but
Okay.
I'm
okay.
So that makes
at
it
least
top.
number 1 for sure. Yeah.
Where does Owen put it? Owen
I
puts
lost
it at 3,
access
right?
to Owen's account.
What?
Oh my god, I can't see it anymore.
Yeah,
Where'd it go?
How does
Oh,
that
it's okay. I'll look it
happen?
up for you, Andrew. I got it.
No, wait.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
He doesn't have it on Letterboxd.
I'll just hack into his letterbox. I bet he has that list privated.
Yeah, he probably has private.
Yeah.
He puts it at 3, right below Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. Well,
Oh wow.
I mean, I think we can compromise, and because you guys also have it at number 1, we can put it in the middle. But
I don't.
I mean, even though the majority
is Shaun is 1 for me.
If you call
that,
I mean,
I gotta say,
with Cole, we were doing majority clearly.
to fight for Owen, I think it's got to stay beneath Shaun of the Dead here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that just means that I don't. Oh, dude. Okay, yeah. This makes it tough for me because I have Baby Driver above Shaun of the Dead. So.
This makes it. Andrew, you have no idea how differently I think Shaun of the Dead should be ranked compared to everyone else. It seems like.
I don't think anything's going above these 3 now.
Oh no! What?
I don't think there's any more changes that are going to be had in the top 3.
Are you kidding me?
You might be surprised.
We'll see.
Well, I only think one of the remaining 3 should go above, and I think you guys hopefully should know.
Tell you what. I'd be okay with it at 2. I think
I would be okay with that too. I mean,
you're doing the Iron Man 3 thing again with me. I get it. Whatever. But honestly,
fine.
I do love. Like I said, these are all S tier to me, and it's like it's really hard to even rank them because it's just like I love them in so many different ways, and on their levels they're working on so many great. Like in terms of Shaun of the Dead, working great with the zombie genre. Hot Fuzz working with great in the police action movie genre, and Scott Pilgrim being a great adaptation, and also great acknowledgement of all these different subcultures of like anime and comics and video games. All that it's great there too. But I'd be fine with it at 2.
okay. I'm also okay with that too. So I'm just
All right.
We'll
There you go.
Owen's arguing with you guys, but it's already up there. So
using
I
his
say we
views
just
for
leave
your
it.
own gain, I see.
no, I'm saying Owen's
If
arguing.
Owen's
that it's
arguing,
the
we'll
same.
put it back down to 3.
we can put it back down.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphorical argument.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he's not messaging you. Okay.
No, he's at work right now.
Okay.
He's not watching, or else he'd be here.
You could have it up.
He has it in at work. He's
Yeah,
just
it's in his ear, man.
listening to
Just
it.
listening to it.
Nice.
Is this the way we promote the podcast too? Listen to the podcast version of these
Yeah,
videos.
exactly.
You can do it at work, and you don't have to look at it, and you can just hear our beautiful voices.
We're
It's great.
spreading our views. We don't appeal to the audio listeners. We need to
You
do
should.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to see my crazy reactions I have to every time someone says they think Shaun of the Dead should be first.
Sean took his
Like-
shirt off, bro.
What? No, I.
If you guys, yeah, okay,
Whoa,
Put your
listen,
shirt
yeah.
back on.
Whoa,
Gotta
hey.
go.
Oh my god, don't touch your belt, dude.
Oh my gosh, jeez. Oh my gosh, this is gonna play so differently on Spotify.
Audio listeners, that was a little bit of a prank I was doing.
Yeah, it's
Sean,
actually
you want to
Andrew
That was
who's
not a prank.
speaking,
That
and
was
we all
actual
know
real.
everyone.
Andrew was doing it the entire time. He was fucking with
Guys, I appreciate
All right,
it.
all right. Let's get moving.
Well, let's move on to the next movie, The World's End.
Okay.
This is the one I remember the least about, even though I watched it sometime in 2019. So I feel like
Andrew, I think you should start on this one.
yeah.
The World's End is a great film made in 2013. Well, released in 2013 by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Martin Freeman, and some other people. It's a great film. It's really fucking good. It's the night before they started filming. Edgar Wright had his casting crew do a watch party of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and something else. I think like a double feature. So I think it's a fun fact. He likes to do that to get people into the spirit of the film that they're about to make. So I think this one's freaking rad. Unfortunately, it exists in the greatest filmography ever made, which is Edgar Wright, so it falls a bit. I would say the humor is really good. They address like a more serious topic in a way than the other Cornetto films do, which is like what it feels like when you feel like your friends are succeeding and you've been left behind, trying to relive those glory days, trying to hold on to whatever you have left, and being a giant dillweed about it. Gary King is not an admirable character very much. He can be relatable, I think, to some, but just not a great guy in general. Fun fact: Simon Pegg was battling alcoholism at this point, so he was sober. So he was not even dealing with any of that. He wasn't doing any of the drinking stuff. I think it was when he was making this. Which is cool because he also developed a series of acting steps of being drunk. It starts with being like a little bit like buzzed and you get kind of tipsy. And then he said there's 3 more stages of kind of increasing drunkenness. And then everything after that, you're just blasted. I don't know. That was a good bit. He did it on Conan. Yeah, this movie rules, but it's I like it more than Shaun of the Dead. But I understand that it's like, I don't know, it's weird, man. I think it's just Edgar like going like, I'm gonna have some fun, you know, which is I think very cool, but is maybe less generally appealing to some people. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one to try to classify. I think I quite like it, but I don't think it's gonna beat anything we've talked about yet. I think it's better than Shaun of the Dead. Sorry, Sean. But it might be better than you.
Okay, well, I have
yeah,
some disagreements.
My name is from this film, Reverend Green, the drug dealer.
Yes. Can I go next?
Good man. Yeah, take it.
Because I don't have much to say, but I agree it deals with more serious topics. I feel like this is another one where like the greatest filmography ever and words like that, like I tend to disagree a bit. I mean, like
what?
There's some definitely weaker points in this one, and I agree it's better than Shaun of the Dead, I think too, actually. But yeah, this is definitely bottom tier for me. I think I'll especially just say the last like 15 minutes. I think it's just like so, I don't know, unnecessary, and like just takes the film in like a really weird turn. That like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it started off better, and then it got more into just like the weird alien stuff, and then like it wasn't as big as a reveal or as good as the one in like Hot Fuzz, and it didn't do the whole mob like enemy thing is, yeah, I mean, very well in my opinion. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like a bit weaker. I think just the villains were just like this, like obscure mob alien thing, and they were just sort of doing the same thing they do in Shaun of the Dead, where they're like just beating them all up and whatever. So it's good for sure, but like, yeah, that's all I gotta say, I guess.
Okay. So this is where I'm gonna almost completely disagree with you, Sean, in terms of where it's good and where it's bad. I think it's very, very slow at the beginning, which is part of the reason why most people don't necessarily click with it as much. I think Gary King is an interesting character, but out of all the three of his in that trilogy, he's definitely the weakest. His version of Simon Pegg's character, basically, all between all of them. Yeah, it's just I think this is one that I bet if I watched it 10, 20 years from now, I'd probably like it more. And maybe even now, like just kind of growing up and dealing with all that minutiae bullshit and people kind of moving on from friend groups. But yeah, I think when it goes bonkers towards the end is when it's at its best. It's going 100% mostly, so there's not like a lot of kind of nuance there. But I love the aliens. I love the fact that it ends and it's just an apocalypse, and I think that's like perfect. I don't think people give that enough credit. Also, the best Cornetto reveal because it's literally it just comes onto the fence. I can't remember. I remember watching it at the time, not thinking it would happen, but then it happened. The Cornetto was there. Arguably the most forgettable in its filmography. That doesn't mean much though when it's so stylized and awesome. But I do remember specific scenes, but in terms of like parts of it, I haven't seen it since probably like 2018. It's been a while. So hard to say on my front on that. But yeah, it's still good. It's still good. It's just I just don't know if it's great. So
yeah, wait. I just to jump in again. I feel like the second half's like fun, but yeah, I don't remember it too much. I think I remember the editing, like the bar scenes and all that, obviously a lot better, which is why I think I said that first half is like a bit better. But I don't know. I was just not a fan of the apocalypse scene. It just felt like I don't know, really out of place, like kind of cheap ending that like I don't know, didn't really add much. Like just like took it to like a whole different place I was expecting it to go to, and I was like, I don't know, just felt out of place.
I think that's kind of the point of the movie, though. Like, it goes places you don't expect it to go. And so for that to happen is totally up my wheelhouse by that point in the movie.
Yeah, I guess. It just wasn't, like, set up at all, like in Hot Fuzz or anything like that.
I'll give you that.
Set up a bit.
The apocalypse?
Like the invasion. Yeah. Like by how some people would be
the invasion. But I just felt like the apocalypse was like tacked on, like didn't really need to be there. Like
to me, it makes sense as a natural occurrence that would happen as a result of this invasion, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't think it needed to be there. It, like left more questions than answers for me, I think.
I like questions at the end of a movie. It means I get to think about the world after I leave, besides having just being like,
I'll say I didn't think about it that much, but I like the idea.
I love it. Yeah, for the record, John, I respect your opinion. I'm just stating why I don't. Oh, I'm not on board. I like the beginning of the movie too. I think it's pretty fun. That cop is like one of the little clues at the beginning of how things are a bit amiss. But yeah, I mean it's one of my less watched Edgar Wright movies, but less watched is still like at least half a dozen times.
I don't know. So. I just feel like the apocalypse could have been fleshed out more because like they clearly got into like how he was living now, and then like I just felt like there could have been so much more, and it just felt tacked on, is what I mean.
I'm curious when the last time you watched it was.
I can check. It was like within the past year, I think.
Okay, because I think in my experience, this is the movie that most people like more once they see it again.
I've only seen it once, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
most people I know will watch it once and be like, it's all right. And then they'll watch it again and they'll be like, I didn't appreciate that
Well,
enough the first time.
Yeah.
It's one of the most
Albert also
underrated.
live
It
chat.
doesn't.
He said he
Yeah.
rewatched the World's
Perfect.
End, and
I
it's a
saw
lot
him give
better
it
than
4.5.
remember.
I saw him give him 4.5, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
But it seems like most of Edgar's are better on rewatch. But like this was a fun one for sure. I just like you guys already said, it's just not like the most memorable. It's just like very, again, same thing with Shaun of the Dead, very straight like alien invasion movie. Like except with the exception of like the themes of the that you were mentioning. But like I feel like it just kind of ignores that when it starts bashing in like aliens. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you that. I think I was in it at that point. Like I was kind of wanting a change, and I was kind of wanting to step away from that.
I mean, the
So-
aliens are fun, but
Right.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
but it's not adding any
why.
nuance to what was going on
Yeah.
before. Yes.
It doesn't add anything more than just aliens.
But do I
and I'm
like it? I still do like it. The fucking blue explosion of their heads going. It's great.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. There, I like it. There's just that's why it's less than other Edgar Wright movies. I just think there's more to them, like comedically or just like action or like just overall like themes.
I think it's a good character study still, even after the fighting starts. But yeah,
Matthew.
Albert also said there's so much attention to detail, and the comedy is so smart.
hell yeah.
I don't
The
remember
visual
being as
stuff is
funny
all
as the
still
other
there.
ones.
His style is
Okay.
incredible, and
And
he
the
does a lot of the
switch
same
of
visual comedy.
Peg and Frost as a straight man and the messed up character.
Yeah, that's the thing. Also, I don't like Frost as a straight man. I don't
like Peg as a messed up character.
I guess I don't know.
Bunch
It's
of
just,
haters.
I like Gary King. I just think he is a little bit ridiculous at points. But then Nick Frost doesn't. There's no
It's too much.
counterbalance. That's the thing. When, especially in Shaun of the Dead, you get Doofus, Nick Frost, and then fucking stuck into bullshit Simon Pegg, and there's a balance, and then they counter each other. It's like a yin and a yang. Technically, that's a yin and a yang. It just doesn't feel right. Like something's off about it. Like he's like Nick Frost is too straight, and Gary King is too extreme.
I'd agree with that.
I have things to say, but there is there's nothing that I can say that's gonna be.
We'll talk about
I'll
it.
change you. I just conceptually don't agree or really completely understand what you're saying, but fair enough.
Okay. So
That's
Oh,
interesting.
I was gonna bring it up, but Nathan says that he thinks the World's End serves as a counterpoint to what Sean said earlier about the predictability of Shaun of the Dead.
maybe
So
that's
Sean
what it
needs that sweet spot of predictability.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. This one goes too far in the other direction for me. that's weird.
Okay.
Well, it's like in Shaun of the Dead, they're just all like zombies, and in this one, it's just like an apocalypse. They're both like kind of predictable, but this one just like randomly includes 5 minutes of an apocalypse scene, and I'm like, why did that need to be in there? Like this could have been a way more. I don't know. Never mind. We can rank.
Okay. Who wants to start? Should we start with Owen? What does Owen think?
Yeah, where does Owen have this?
Owen has this at 5,
Okay.
Okay.
under Baby Driver, and then above Last Night in Soho, which is where I would put it as well.
Okay. Interesting.
I have this as 6.
Oh.
I'm looking at it. We have to talk about Soho eventually. I think it's still my 6 too. I don't know. No. It hurts. I don't know. But 5. I'm gonna say 5.
I think I agree with 5 from looking at my list, but I feel like I also need to maybe think more about where I should put Last Night in Soho. I'll just leave it at 5 though.
Andrew?
Oh, I'm 5. Well, I mean, I'm gonna keep it here, and then I'm gonna move Baby Driver above it. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
in my own list.
That's also
Yeah.
well, in terms of
I
what we
think
have
most
now.
people here are putting Baby Driver above it. So
Yeah. I mean, we can get into Baby Driver
Wait,
then.
actually, hold on. Are we talking like in this ranking? So like it'd be in theory. Wait, right? Currently, it'd be.
would you put it
Above
above
Last Night in
anything else
Soho.
that we've watched yet? Here
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, anything else that we've ranked? So like,
that we've ranked yet? Yeah.
oh no, I'm just trying to think. If we put it at 5.
So just ignore that.
No,
first.
so it just sits there, and then we
Yeah.
we talk about Baby Driver next.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, the last for now.
Yeah.
For sure.
So.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get into Baby Driver.
For the record, I put it above Shaun of the Dead, but I know I'm gonna get outvoted.
I did too.
Well, you know what?
We're still outvoted, so
This is my number one. I'm just gonna start with that. This is my favorite Edgar Wright
Baby
movie.
Driver. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Wow.
Respect it.
I respect.
This is
I
my-
totally respect it too. By the way,
This is one of my most rewatchable Edgar Wright movies. It's not Scott Pilgrim levels quite for me, but it's up there.
yeah.
I adore Baby Driver, but I understand arguments against it more than I do in other movies.
This is my first Edgar Wright movie, actually. Yeah, this is my first Edgar Wright movie. So I watched it in theaters when it came out, was blown away. And I rewatched it again earlier this year. I'm just like, yeah, this is still super fucking good. And I just like really like it. Yeah, so it's still number one for me. And I feel like as I've grown more appreciative of film, because like back in 2017, like I liked movies, but wasn't as into it as I am now. And I just think it does everything right, like the way it uses music and how everything syncs up together. I think just Edgar Wright creates a really fast-paced and like just exciting like action and car chases, and like the ensemble characters is all like really interesting, like how they blend together and like how they work together on a heist. A bunch of people who like never met each other, and just like really creates like a really interesting element. And I think he just hooks you in immediately with the amazing soundtrack. And
Okay. This is also one I saw. I think this is probably the one I've seen most in theaters of his filmography, mostly because I wasn't. I mean, the ones I could have seen in theaters were World's End, Baby Driver, and Soho. So well, so technically, but I did see it a lot. I basically saw it in every format. I saw it in Dolby and IMAX and regular and shitty hometown theater. It was great. I saw it a lot of times. So I think I'm to say that it's one that diminishes a little bit each time. Technically, this is probably his most impressive, especially how much of it's practical. And I mean, basically, it is all practical. And I mean, this we talk about syncing up the music. I mean, this is the premise of the movie, basically. And so, I mean, those sequences are great. I think the opening heist is awesome. I like the heist gone wrong at the bank, especially because they scout it out and you kind of get a sense of what's going on. And when it just eventually it starts raining and then something's not going right, and then him chasing around and trying to disguise and run out, it's great. Finale for me is like a little, as I've gone back to it, it's been kind of disappointing, just because it kind of comes and it's there and it makes sense why he has to give himself in, but then they give him the happy ending anyway, so not sure. But obviously, we could talk about the fact Kevin Spacey and Ansel Elgort. That's not a factor for me at this rate because the movie stands on its own, even outside of that. And I mean, if we want to talk about it, it's also, lackluster Kevin Spacey too, in terms of performance compared to his other stuff.
I forgot what. Sorry to interrupt. I forgot what Ansel Elgort or like what that is.
The big
I feel like I've heard of
ROOMING.
Wait,
we can talk about it. That's not relevant.
We'll
I'm sorry, I shouldn't even brought it up. But I think it's important to bring up because it's a good reason why people don't like it as much these days. But I mean, Michael Myers heist scene always great. I always gets a laugh out of me. Lily James' best movie for me. even though she's not necessarily the best character in it, but it's still my favorite of hers. So
No, I really like Lily James in it. She's great.
I'm a big Lily James fan.
I can believe it.
I don't know if you guys knew that. Sean, I'll go last. So
Okay. I will say that now that you guys are talking about it, it is not to get too much into Last Night in Soho, but this is, I can't believe how big of a difference there is between this one and that one in terms of like his last like theatrical release. Now that I think about it, because yeah, I'm a really big fan of Baby Driver. I was looking forward to it. I think when it was coming out, I don't remember if I saw it in theaters or not though, but the like you guys have all said, the editing is like top notch, and especially with the soundtrack, amazing. I think I'm trying to think what else to mention about this movie outside of just those. I think I don't know. I'm trying to think what to say. It's just it's a very well done movie. I think up until like just a bit ago, I like as I was looking back at my old ranking and thinking of what I would want them as, I think like recently Hot Fuzz, like I think it's just been a bit higher for me than this one, but this one was definitely up there. It's still up there among top 3. It doesn't beat out like still for me Scott Pilgrim, but it's just very well done. I think it's super action packed. The like ending sequences with like I think are all just super what am I trying to say? Like just very intense and like suspenseful. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this one. I really like it. Very fun, enjoyable one. And then yeah, it is really awkward though. We're watching it with what Cole mentioned about Kevin Spacey, and I don't know actually what, or I didn't know about incel or whatever you mentioned, but that's I don't know.
Yeah, for me that's not. If I've seen a movie, that's not an issue for me. If I've seen it before anything comes out, because in my mind the performances just stick in as the same. But yeah, so I like this movie. I think some key elements of it are how you think of it. When I first saw it, I really, really liked it, but I didn't love it. And now I love it. It's like it's so good, dude. Like it's one of my like most enjoyable watches that I rewatch like every 2 months. It's like I think you have to go in expecting it to be like kind of a cheesy love story, because that's what it is, and it's like an action-packed love story. I think is the best way to think about it. Like how these people they're criminals, but they're the main characters are driven by their emotions, like in any other movie. I think it might just be a bit more obvious here. Whether it's Baby and Deborah, or Buddy and Darling, or Bats being it's more about, for him it's about ego and just being a bit crazy, and then Doc is like the main one who's like clinically approaching everything because he just wants to make the money, but even him at the end, he dies to try to save Baby and Deborah. So like I really like that element where it's just like this emotion driven film, and I think that ties in super well to the fact that music is tied into every scene as well because of the ways the music and emotion connect. It's almost like a cheat code, I think, to be able to play a new needle drop whenever you want to convey like the mood of the scene or anything like that. And then it's just fucking fun as hell, dude. Like some of the action sequences, like when he's running away on foot, like some of the like parkour stuff that he does, and the music's like pumping, and you're just like, it's like, dude, it's just like really cool, really fun, bell bottoms. Cole, you appreciate bell bottoms,
Bell
obviously.
bottoms, bro. Tequila also great
Tequila,
one in there.
yeah.
A shout out to Egyptian reggae.
Yeah,
You gotta love it.
yeah, I love Egyptian
It's
reggae.
it's a great transition scene song because it's
Yeah.
just the beats of it. It's just like it's so smooth, and then it's kind of just like getting in the vibe of it, and then as John Berthel, fuck, I'm not gonna remember the character name. As he rips it out, and then the whole bit of that.
Yeah.
Griff. But
then there's like Know How and Radar Love and stuff too. Oh, it's like my favorite movie soundtrack.
And
which is
Deborah.
huge for me as well.
Also Deborah. Both from
Deborah,
us.
both Deborahs. Yeah, both really
Deborahs.
good. So yes, I just love all of those. Howard says coolest and technically one of his best, because that's true. The technical elements of this film, he says, lacks the heart. Well, that's.
I would agree a little bit, not necessarily as extreme, but
I think it has a different heart to it. But I get
it's different.
I think you have to recognize the technical elements of this, which is really cool, which is that they had the editor on set. They developed like a rig for it and like pioneered new ways to make this shit work.
that probably will
like
never be used
editing
again.
Huh?
I mean, I don't know how you would. I mean, like
He
in
said
terms of
that'll never be
wanting
used
to
again.
edit on set or whatever.
No, but that's so cool to create your
It's
own
great.
technology.
It's great. I just think it won't be used.
First of all, definitely could be, but second of all, I don't think it matters. It's cool to
you're right.
to have an artistic vision and then create technology to fulfill it. And it's incredibly impressive, like as a filmmaker, I think. So I think those are some cool facts to recognize that the Academy doesn't.
I think impressive is the word. Listen.
Fucking done.
Good punch.
If I had to describe this word, I would say, or this movie, I'd say impressive. But like I said, I already said my piece with the other bits. But it is without a doubt impressive. I don't think there's any way you watch it and you can't think that.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's the Queen song at the end?
Brighton Rock.
Brighton Rock, dude. That is my favorite of the whole movie. That is such a hype scene.
Yeah, it's so
insane.
In the parking lot.
In the fucking parking lot. So good.
And it's
so
a callback too.
I know. Oh, God.
I'm telling you, dude, this movie rules.
No, I know. But like I said, I don't.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah. So
quoting Monsters Inc. You and I are the team.
I don't care about that part.
Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with quoting Monsters Inc.
Sure, man. Shall we try to rank this?
Do it.
Let's try.
Also, Baby's relation with Joe.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know if it's great. I think it's good though.
That's cool.
Okay.
I put it above World's End and Shaun of the Dead.
I'd put it above World's End, and that's it.
I put it above World's End and Shaun of the Dead.
And well, this is my favorite, so we're at least putting it above Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Owen puts it beneath Shaun of the Dead, so I think we don't put it
dang
any
it.
higher.
That's a
but-
tie.
I think we are good there because I have that top and then
Owen has it at fourth beneath what our old top three was.
Okay.
This might be a very subjective ranking. This is not a personal ranking. I think.
Huh?
Right now,
Going
anyways.
Objective.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are all subjective.
No,
right?
I'm objectively subjective.
What?
Subjectively objective.
Well, mine is correct. And I got to be honest with you, mine is...
Here's what I'd
Holy
say.
shit, what
I
is
bet
that?
if you've been off of Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or something, I don't know where it would place. This seems like that's where it would, like, you know what I mean? Like if you had to get everybody's opinion in the world.
I don't.
Famously, the best way to appreciate a movie.
Anyhow, I don't know how far. Actually, Hot Fuzz probably wouldn't be up there then. I don't know. Hard to say. Should I talk about Sparks Brothers since I'm the only one?
Yeah, take it if you want.
Okay.
Matthew, what do you think?
And you could put it on here, because it would be dead last for me. Or no, well, no, hold on.
Soho has changed the world that we live in. I recognize
where everything
that.
is good. Anyways, I'll just talk about it. We won't rank it. It's great. I I think in terms of what I went going into the film, you know, it's a documentary, man. It's not, you're not going to get the same editing. You're not going to get the same kind of techniques you're seeing in his narrative stuff. And so where you do lack that, you do get a very in-depth conversation about Sparks and where they fall into the conversation of other music artists and how they're everybody's favorite band, right? But they don't get the hits. But it's definitely a great look at their career overall. And it's something, as long as they've been going, I can't remember how many albums, I think 14, 15 studio albums. He does a really great job of exploring each of them and in their own way. And I think in terms of informationally, it's really good because it gets you back, you gets you into it, and you're like, okay, I understand where this one place is compared to everything else in terms of the story. But it's definitely about, the movie's about their discography, if that makes sense. So there's some emotional, and you understand where they were in their own scene, but it's about the music. And if you like that, that's great. It didn't necessarily work for me all the way because I needed something just a bit more. But that's also kind of great because that's exactly what Sparks are. They're at surface. They know what they're doing, and they've always been doing it. Just nobody's appreciated it. So I think, but if I had to put it, it could be above Soho for me. We'll talk about Soho, but it'd probably still be last. So yeah, Sparks wrapped. Rachel, if I did a bad description, I apologize. I tried. So okay.
So Soho.
Okay. So last movie, Last Night in Soho. Is there anyone who wants to start?
I'll start, and this is gonna hurt to say. I think so far it's the most disappointing I've been with his filmography. He's doing something different here, which I will always give any filmmaker credit for trying, because especially when you are very much, he has a style and everybody knows his style, and I'm sure he wants to break from it too in a way and trying to do his own thing. And so I appreciate that a lot. I think this is a movie that works really well in its first act and most of its second act. As you start getting into the end of it, it gets really wonky. It gets very CGI heavy with the past. We're gonna do spoilers, right? I mean, this is,
yeah. I mean, we've been doing spoilers the entire time. So.
From the past murders of the victims that Anya Taylor-Joy's character, which is Sandy. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it just happens way too much, man, and it's there and it keeps going. And I think where Eloise was introduced as such a, like, we get a glimpse of what she was like and her mom, and you kind of understand that power is supernatural, but it's not like all that apparent, but it's there. I don't think that's as much important, but at the end of the day, I think everybody's doing a pretty good job. I think the script is just really lacking, especially in its final act, which kind of sours a lot of it. And at the end of the day, its theming about nostalgia is really contradictory when you spend so much time lavishing in it. And so it's hard for me to recommend, but there's a lot to like. Like I said about everything in the past, all those sequences are great. Especially
practical,
oh god, yeah. I mean, we could talk about the scene with the Georges from Harry Potter, and they get down in the whole dance sequence, and they're just dipping
dancing where they switch.
The way that they combine Eloise and Sandy in there is fantastic. Even later on with like the mirror, her breaking through is also great. The way it comes back to haunt her. The reveal isn't that shocking if you really start thinking about it. But you know, it's there. It's great. I'm not gonna say anything about how it places in like the style of Giallo, because there's definitely a lot of inspirations of colors there that goes into it. But if I'm thinking of this on its own, I don't know if it fits well in horror. I don't know if it fits well in thriller. It's doing its own thing, but it just doesn't click on all levels. and especially some of the side characters are just kind of whatever. So I think that's Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, can I go next? Because I actually, about the side characters, I very much, this is a small thing, but I'm going to rant about it because I like the first half, like you mentioned. I think it sets up a lot of stuff very well. Yeah, we can get into where he goes with that, but the character of like the annoying college girl who was a fake friend, I think was especially such a just overused trope.
Well, because it's like she has so much. She does have a little bit of nuance in the beginning, and then eventually, when they just want to forget her, she just becomes the annoying popular girl or whatever.
Yeah, like the second half, she was barely like relevant, and I even think in the first half, like the one she set up like one significant thing, and that was her leaving the place, and otherwise it was just a cliche like through and through. And I mean, just to me, like I'm like, you had one conversation with this girl and you decided to be like that brutal, like what the heck? Like I don't think it's realistic either. Not that it's going for that, but like
also the boyfriend who's like really down bad.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know on that front. Yeah, John.
Who's really what? Wait, what did you say?
I said he's really down bad.
Oh yeah. I mean that the relationship was kind of weak as well. But what, Andrew?
I disagree that it's like a person that's mean like that can't exist. If didn't interact with high school girls, like as a friend of girls, and hear some of the shit that people do to each other on.
What are you trying to say here, Andrew?
I'm saying I've heard stories, bro, about how
I can believe
awful.
I don't think it works well in the movie.
Oh, I mean, that's a difference. I don't think that's even close to a thing that I like. Was like, this has affected how I feel about this film. But
I don't know.
It's definitely one of the weaker elements, but I still like the movie a lot. So it's not like I just think that's like one of the weaker elements.
Yeah, I guess I just have like a general like more positive view of people, and if like someone was to be that rude, I think
that's your
like
mistake, man.
More of a reason than like 5 seconds of conversation, and then she said her parents died. Like that was like all the reason she had to say she hated. But anyway, what else was I going to say about the film? So yeah, the sets of the first half, I agree. A lot of good setup. The third act, you're right with the repetition and the CGI. It was
even
way
outside
too
of the CGI, there's just a lot of repetition. The breakdowns, the colors keep just coming back. Like I kind of want to change, and it just doesn't.
And I mean, like there's his. I think like the style, like you said, he's trying to change. I don't think the style changes. I guess editing's very well done in this one, but I think he just wanted a genre change, which he, like you said, it didn't work as a horror. I wasn't scared, and I'm not a big fan of horror, so I was a little bit worried, but it wasn't really horror. There were like 2 maybe jump scares, and then it redid the same jump scare. And as a thriller, I think it functions a bit better, but also, like you said, it's not an amazing thriller. I think I enjoyed this a bit more than you. It's like a fun ride, but yeah, the third act, if that had been like much better, it would have been like a much better film, because I think that really especially ruined it. And the twist, I mean, I don't want to, like, I know we're doing spoilers, but I won't say too much. I just think I was annoyed because like
I already spoiled it, Sean. So
yeah, okay. Well, I'm just, there wasn't much to it. It just was like what you thought was the opposite. Like, gotcha. Like, I was like,
okay, but then it's the flip flop of Sandy's character there too. That's the thing that gets me too. Is that the movie can't
know Sandy's character? I don't know if you can say that.
What?
You saw Sandy's character on A Few Nights, right?
No, yeah, but I'm talking about especially when you find out the reveal, and she kind of goes. The movie can't decide if what she did is redeemable or not, and I think that's kind of the fault.
I don't think it. Are you saying that it does? I think it's very much open for the audience to interpret.
I think that it is it though, because inevitably she burns in there, and she is repenting, if you want to call it that. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think she's repenting. I think If anything, it leans towards absolving Sandy, which is, I guess, my
Right.
my take would be as well. I think if anything, it leans towards absolving her because of how she's treated by Eloise and like getting to choose her own ending. You know?
Interesting.
I'm gonna, or I'll hop in because like I think what I was annoyed about was like it set up so much of like it's like they'd been doing these things to Sandy, and then once it completely flipped it was like sort of like I don't know, it felt me it to me felt like they were victimizing like the dudes who had done all these awful things, which like clearly they were because they've been murdered, but it was like a weird twist because it's like that it's weird to be sympathizing with like the ghosts of like these dead men now like so quickly, like even though there was some setup, it felt so rushed and like I don't know, it reminds me of like Promising Young Women and like that, like how far should you go with like vengeance of that is justified, but it didn't address that very much. It just flipped it like it in like the span of like 15 minutes and there was nothing. Like that's what I think. I guess I was annoyed about. I think a twist should be more than just now it's the opposite. Like I get there's small setups, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I think I'm realizing I think I just see movies differently than you guys.
How so?
None of these are like the way you're saying some of these things. Like you say them, and I'm like, oh, I don't give a shit about that. Which isn't like I'm not saying that like you're viewing them wrong. I'm just saying like I don't like just
that aspect's not as important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just not something that has occurred to me.
So, but then this is where I get it again, where I think it's trying something different and it's setting up things to make me think that way and to be conscious of that. I would say that less so of his other films in that way, where they are more fun and interesting rides because they're funny scenarios and even if you compare something like Hot Fuzz, where you're getting into the murder mystery of it and how it's happening. You've seen similar things before, and so you kind of know the interest, but then it subverts those, right? I don't think the movie makes its mind on what it's trying to do by the end of it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the twist was necessary, to be honest. I think it could work without it.
Yeah, I also really don't like the textbook ending, like the perfect her getting the thing. I think it's great, but I just don't.
Oh yeah,
it's weird. It's weird. Like, it just totally it feels weird, like in there.
Yeah, she's still
she
sees Sandy at the end of the film, but
yeah, but it's different. It's kind of like the way that she saw her mother at the beginning of the movie. It's a different kind of. That's at least how I read it. I don't know.
They really didn't go anywhere with that, like the seeing her mother stuff. I feel like now that.
I think it was just setting up her like power,
able to see like ghosts
That's how I saw it.
Okay. Because honestly,
right. But once again, then it's mentioned, and then it's mentioned about when they're talking to the girls, and then it's kind of dropped because she's gotten into this plot, but it doesn't come back in that way.
But then it ties into her being able to see Sandy, right?
Right, because that's the moment where she's in. Because like that's the thing, it feels like I don't know how to describe it.
Right, so her mother grew up in her room, where she sees her mother.
Right, no, I get that. Like, but in terms of like how they describe that, how they choose to describe that as a actual, let's call it power. Let's just call it power. I know it's a bad example, but versus a storytelling device, because you can get vague versions of that in movies, and I think that still can work. It's not vague enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, because there is some validity in the fact that she's in the room and that's why she's seeing all the peoples of the past, but it's not a defined power enough to be like something that I can get behind from the start. It's a little wishy-washy. I don't know. That's my take on that. That's a weird thing.
Like, I don't. I'm trying to. I'm trying to like word it together. I can't right now in my head.
Do you get what I mean, Andrew? I don't know.
Yeah, it still seems to use maybe an overused word, a bit nitpicky. But I think I get what you're saying. Sorry, I had to text my boss really briefly as well because I have to get my shift covered tomorrow since I still have a fever. Yeah. So for me, for the record, bottom of my ranking. For me, just also to clarify one thing, I actually do think there is one shot in there that's really weird when Eloise is going to grab the phone, and like that's like the shot where it's like it does feel like it's sympathizing with the dead dudes. But I think the rest of it is more sympathetic to Sandy from my point of view. I thought it was enjoyable. I think it is a horror movie. It's still like, yeah, I think maybe more of a thriller, but like
horror is just a broad genre. Like
I felt sick to my stomach with some of that shit. Maybe that's not how it's definitionally processed, but yeah, like it just like I think that's like my biggest thing is like I don't know if it was handled well, like some of the scenes. Like because this is such a serious issue and topic. And I don't know if like it's like super delicately handled. It kind of feels very jarring, and maybe that's the point, is to make you maybe feel like what Sandy might have felt. But yeah, I think it was like partway through the movie, I was like, do I not like this movie? And then as I got further to the end, I was like, well, okay, not partway through. It was like there was like a point near the end of Act 2 where I was like, I don't know if I even like this movie. And then when I got to the end, I was like, no, I do like it. I think it's a good movie. It's just I'm comparing it to Edgar Wright and every film he's made. And so I was like, if I had gone into this as like, this is a horror movie, I would have come out and I would have been like, this is a horror movie that I like. Now, odds are I would not have gone to see that movie, but still. But going, this is Edgar Wright's new movie. Yeah, it wasn't for me as much. Like still like 7 or 8 out of 10 for me, I think. Maybe 6 to 8. I feel like I'm still really processing it and I need to rewatch. But yeah.
By the way, I know that same point, by the way. Like I think we haven't really talked about the technical stuff other than like the choreography. The cinematography of this movie is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
The use of color,
Jung Jung-hoon, his cinematography in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
So even if you just had headphones, if you didn't have headphones in, you're just looking at it, there's something to behold. For sure. Oh my god, like the scene when she first goes into the world with the sheet, and the sheet just becomes like this giant tunnel almost. Yeah. It's so good, man. It's things like that. I'm like, man, this is doing a lot of awesome shit.
And the production design, when they recreated.
Oh god, yeah. Geez. Once you see that Thunderball poster, it's just like it all clicks.
Yeah. I was looking online at like what it actually looks like how it looks like now. Before like they had to change stuff for the time period.
I think visually it was astonishing. Still, it's just unfortunately I think most of Edgar Wright's movies are visually astonishing.
Yeah, I think I know we're not even talking Oscar season yet. But if this doesn't get production design in some capacity, I think it's a shame because they're doing a lot of awesome shit, even outside of being nostalgic. The present day stuff is great too, because you have a lot of that fashion school kind of aesthetic there, and it plays really well. Yeah, man.
Costume design would be great too, I think.
Costume would also be good.
That's going to Cruella, so.
Oh God, yeah. We can talk about that another time. See, that's an interesting comparison because I think Get Out is doing something very different too, and this is also doing something very different. To put labels of horror or thriller or mystery, or I wouldn't put action, obviously. I don't know. No, but like it's weird because it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
I disagree though. I think Get Out is more horror, but yeah, like Cole said, like horror is a very I don't know. It can be. It has there's levels of different horror.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I think I would say horror. To me this was more horror. But yeah, like you said,
like horror is such a broad genre, and like you can't really define it from like one movie.
I like pissed myself when I watched The Alien, and then I watched Hereditary, and I was like, this isn't that bad. So
it's like everyone has a different view on horror, like what counts as horror to them.
Yeah. So.
Get Out was more scary, at least. Like even though there were jump scares, I was like not as scared of like Last Night in Soho. It was like
Can we
It's-
make this a
yeah.
can we
Like,
make this a
the
Michael
ghosts.
Jordan Peele ranked while we're here? Just
I'm
throw
not
it in there.
us, so I put Get Out on top.
Yeah. Well,
Get Out is on
Never
top.
mind. All right, that's it. All right, cool.
I haven't
Thanks
seen
for coming
us
to the
either.
Jordan Peele rank.
Can we rank
anyway.
their skits? I need to rewatch that.
Oh,
I'll,
boy.
I'll do that. Hey,
I'd do
how about
that.
you hit us up about that.
Okay. Are we ready to rank this?
Yeah, I guess so. Also, just want to bring up Terrence Stamp and Diana Rigg, who are both
Diana
great.
Rigg, yeah.
Diana
yeah,
Rigg,
great.
rest in peace. This is her last movie, I think. So
Oh, gee.
Is my camera? Okay.
What's
never mind.
who's Terrence Stamp?
Terrence Stamp is the cop the undercover
Nice.
cop.
Okay.
Cool. Who you don't think is the undercover cop, you think it's Jack.
Right.
But,
Spoilers.
yeah.
we spoiled
Yeah.
the movie, Andrew.
Yeah,
Guys,
we did.
guys,
Sorry.
We've
Pretty-
been spoiling every
pretty
single
well, I
Edgar Wright
think.
movie thus far. So
just a quick heads up for you.
Pretty
We're going to
well.
spoil some stuff.
All right, can I go first? Because I was gonna say, even with his problems, I think maybe I should rewatch it. But in the theater, I was having I don't know, I was enjoying the first half. Like, I don't know, it was exciting to watch at least. I think that's why I originally rated it until I started thinking about it, and then I'm like, well, so I'd probably at least above World's End, or last. Either's fine, honestly, but right now my ranking could change, but I think from when I watched it, I put it above World's End.
yeah,
I think I'm with you, Sean. I can't decide. It's really
I
tough.
didn't realize you guys hadn't fucking watched these movies in a while.
I've
What?
seen
What?
I've seen
No,
literally
I
everything
don't. I
else
can't
recently
rewatch.
except World's End.
I've seen everything once except for Baby Driver.
Do you know how many of these rankings I've done recently? I can't rewatch Wes, Dennis, and then Wright.
It just
I
feels
didn't-
disrespectful.
It's hard because
Yeah, I know.
You're
You're raving about this, and I'm like, man,
This is-
these are they're good.
I wanted Owen to be here so bad because he's also watched these movies 5 times each at least.
Ah, shoot.
Yeah.
Figured out. I
But
wouldn't
yeah,
get-
so I put it at bottom. Owen also puts it at bottom.
Owen didn't
Yeah.
like it at all, though, right?
So
not-
what
I don't know,
is
was
his,
kind of good
rating?
on it.
I haven't
Pretty
really
good
talked
on
to them about it because I watched it late.
I think technically he is.
He gave it a good rating, so yeah,
Okay.
I guess he
Okay.
did like it. He gave a rating where he likes the movie, but I don't know his full thoughts.
Sure. I'd put this above World's End, I think.
Because I think Cole's the tiebreaker if Andrew has it under and I have it above.
You have it under World's End?
I don't know.
Wait, no, but Sean said he doesn't care. Owen, okay, wait a second.
Okay.
No,
I have World's End
Hey.
I could go either way. It's not that
I know I
care.
could go either way either. That's just the decision I'm making relative.
So then
to
we
his
can put it
ranking.
on bottom if everybody else.
The fact that Sean's this low is already a problem for me. So I don't know what to say.
Wait, but I
Sean
think Sean should
the
be lower.
dead.
Shaun of the
I'm saying
Dead.
Sean.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah. I was confused. Yeah, I was actually confused.
Sorry, I apologize. No, I'd probably keep it 6.
I mean, yeah, it seems like everybody's 6, and me and Cole are at least fine with 6. Like, could go between 5 and 6, so we could keep it at
Yeah,
6.
if
Okay,
we're
but
wishy-washy, then I
if
think
World's End ends up
We'll lock this in. This is our
Wait,
final
really?
ranking.
Where did you have World's End, Andrew?
World's
I'm
End is
curious.
3 or 4 for me. It rotates with Baby Driver.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You've seen it once, a year ago, man.
February 9th, I checked. Not a year ago.
But,
Almost a year ago.
There's more to appreciate in it.
I want to go
I
back.
probably
to
should
last
rewatch
time,
that.
so,
Don't judge
I
me too harshly before you watch it again.
I probably should rewatch it again. I mean, like I said, most of his movies seem to get funnier on rewatch. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah, I think this is the ranking, right?
This is our ranking. Yeah.
Fight.
Albert's in the fight 3 times, Jacob twice. I'm getting aggressive. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've been going to bed a lot recently, and I didn't sleep today. Well, I slept.
Okay.
I didn't sleep during the
Good.
day today, which I have been for the last week.
Gotcha.
I'm also tired. I was at a badminton tournament.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay. Well, I want to go back to last night's talk about how great the soundtrack is.
Oh,
Because
right.
Yep. Good soundtrack.
I've been listening to it nonstop.
Honestly, that's one that I going back to it, listening to it. I think it has a lot of some good songs, not as good as Baby Driver or
Starstruck.
Scott
Great.
Pilgrim.
The only thing I have to mention about the soundtrack is how Anna Taylor-Joy sang Downtown, and that
Downtown's-
pause in between down and town. Probably the best part of the movie.
I like that they put both versions of it
There
on
you
the
go.
soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Downtown.
It's her version of Downtown. It works really within the movie.
Or wait, the pause wasn't in between down and town. It was whatever was before.
No,
The
it's-
brief pause and then emphasis on downtown. Amazing.
Yeah, whatever they changed the lyrics. So yeah.
Here goes downtown.
Albert also bringing up the acapella Downtown is so chilling. So yeah, there's three. There's another. There's
Oh,
multiple
that's right.
versions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the original version in there too, isn't there? They have a lot of renditions of that song. In that movie. I'm pretty sure. I can look it up.
Maybe.
But yeah, fun. Edgar Wright, cool dude. Like his movies.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Knows
should
how
watch
to
our
make a good
brothers, so we can all talk
Can we-
about it one time.
Can we say our own rankings now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, run it.
I'm curious.
Do you want to share screen or do you want?
I can start with mine.
Okay.
If okay, so at number 6, I have The World's End, and then number 5 is Last Night in Soho. Number 4 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Number 3 is Shaun of the Dead. Number 2 is Hot Fuzz, and number 1 is Baby Driver.
Okay. I lost my ranking, so Andrew, go.
Yeah, for me, and this is subject to change at any point, depending on how I feel that day. Specifically, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 kind of bounce around for me.
Specifically half the films.
Also, 4 and 5 kind of swap sometimes. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is like my favorite. Then Hot Fuzz, then Baby Driver, The World's End, Shaun of the Dead, and Last Night in Soho.
Cool. I would go Shaun of the Dead is my 1. I've stated my case on that. So, but then Hot Fuzz at 2. I'm very close to. Very, very. That's like a 1, and then Hot Fuzz is at like a 1.1 if you could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. Whatever.
No, I get you.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World is at 3. Like I said about it, like it on 2 levels, and as on the Edgar Wright level, and then on the adaptation level. There's so much to go. Also, great tie-in game. One of the best tie-in games for a movie.
Wait, what?
The beat 'em up game.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Which it's technically a tie-in for the.
I
movie,
literally
but-
think of tying games as mobile games nowadays, and I was like,
Oh
what?
jeez, wow, that's sad, Andrew.
Yeah.
Anywho, Baby Driver is at 4. This one has gone down my ranking. If you had asked me 2 years ago, that would have been my number 1, and it has changed. So, then I have Last Night Soho at 5. I think the first half is something really phenomenal that it doesn't detract for me from putting it at that spot. And then World's End at 6, and Spark Brothers at 7. Not because it's bad. Truly, it's still really interesting. I just think Edgar Wright needs to do another doc. I think he needs to flesh out, kind of get in tune with it, because what he was doing with it was really interesting, but probably, could less follow what you expect of a doc formula and do his own thing.
I'm excited to watch it.
It's on Netflix now, I think. So if anybody wants to watch it, at least in the States.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So.
I like how you mentioned in the States. Like, do we have international?
Oh yeah, we got internet.
viewers?
Who cares? You don't know we got
Yeah,
international.
we
viewers.
could, but I'm just personally doubting it.
I always have to clarify that with like Ghibli movies because like
Yeah, that's
everywhere
true.
else in the world it's on Netflix and
Yeah.
in the States it's on HBO. So I feel like
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Oh, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Lucky for the rest of the world.
I know, right?
Yeah. Gosh, I wish there wasn't. Like, anyway, hold on. Pulling up my ranking, which decided to not load. Okay, I see it. So, for me, Scott Pilgrim #1. Then I honestly switched these to like today. Hot Fuzz, and then Baby Driver, and then yeah, like I said, I feel like I ranked this one higher coming out of the theater. But Last Night in Soho, World's End, and then Shaun of the Dead.
Interesting.
And then, do you want to read off Owen's list as well?
Sorry, I saw Alfred's comment.
I'll bring it up. So yeah, Edgar Wright did have another doc. He was in Baby Driver, played by a bad man.
Yeah.
Very
He also,
funny.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but he did a music video. that
Yes.
Baby Driver's based. It's got like Noah Felding and even Nick Frost and stuff. So, Owens is #1, Hot Fuzz. #2, Shaun of the Dead. #3, Scott Pilgrim. #4, Baby Driver. #5, World's End, and #6, Last Night in Soho.
All right, great. And our collaborative list is at #6 is Last Night in Soho. At #5 is The World's End. And #4 is Shaun of the Dead. #3 is Baby Driver. #2 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And #1 is Hot Fuzz. So,
Good
yeah.
list.
Thank you to anyone who was in the live chat, anyone who might be listening to this later or watching this later. And then thank you guys for being here, for being great panelists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I don't have the it refocused.
Hey, there you go.
I was gonna say I don't have the energy to refocus, but have a good night, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Ooh.